Conveying this point, going back to the beginning, like there's no real word. So when that color guy says that the Rebbe would delete or cross out the word God needs, do you think that's the case? Because it's still not the appropriate word? Like, we have to shy away from saying that.
Yeah.
But we have no choice.
We do have a choice, but we do use other words, and that's why nobody's getting it.
Right, so therefore, like, you're pigeonholed into using a certain word, which is not the best word, but it's the only way of getting the point across.
So that's why when I asked Reb Yoel, what's the story? He said, it's not easy. No, it's not easy. Yes or no?
Yes or no what?
He needs it or he doesn't need it? What's not easy? Tell me, either yes or no. Of course the answer is yes, but it's not easy to put it in words. So what does that mean? That means God is indescribable. What's indescribable? That this is God. Torah, mitzvahs, Yidden, this is Him. How is it Him? I don't know. It's indescribable. But the fact that it's indescribable proves how indispensable it is. It is so much Him, I can't even describe it. And then to say it's optional? If it's optional, it's describable. What's not describable?
So some of the Kolo guys that didn't accept it were saying that you can't say in Atmos there's any tzir, or there's any descriptions, which sort of proves how necessary it is. It's not coming from an adjective or instinct. It's coming from Him. That's what it means. There's no description. It's not like you can't describe why He needs it. That just makes it more.
So what are they referring to? What is the description? Torah and mitzvahs? Can't say He is Torah and mitzvahs. That's a description. That's a limit. The answer is no, it's not. Torah is not a limit. Mitzvahs are not a limit. Yidden, also not a limit. What's the limit? The fact that he has a taiva. Taiva is the limit. So, what do you do with the taiva who says he has a taiva? Doesn't really have a taiva. So that's what he's saying. The word taiva is also not good enough. It's the Baal HaTaiva.
I guess practically what this all makes a difference, and this is sort of the point we're trying to convey. So after, I don't know if I told you, so Simon Jacobs, after he spoke in the museum about Hey Tavis. So at the end he said, the Rebbe is dependent upon us now, Kavayachal. So I saw him on Friday night in 7/7, and I said, what did you mean by the word Kavayachal? Like he's not really dependent upon us? And he said, yeah, you have to be careful with the words because you make it sound, the Rebbe's a Rebbe, like saying dependent is sort of dangerous ground. So hearing that, the famous Sicha Chachasnis, and Asu Kol Asher B'Yacholtem, like I've done everything I can, now the rest is up to you. Like, is that really true? Obviously, the more true we internalize that, the more motivated we're going to do to, change the world and to do what needs to be done. But if it's sort of like not really real, or not really dependent, then like anything else in life, you're not really going to get to it or be as motivated, unless it's coming from another outside influence. So this whole idea is, I don't know, every day you wake up and there's so much needed of you, Torah and mitzvahs and negelvasser, and the more that you feel it's necessary, obviously the more you're going to be committed to it. But the more people I speak to, they say essentially it can't be anything necessary, because that would belittle God in the sense that if anything is really necessary or he's dependent upon anything, it's obviously makes him less.
Yeah. The result of that thinking is that God himself is nothing. You can't put any limits on him, so he's what? Nothing, blank. That's not apocryphal. That's like saying God is in heaven. Who cares? Well, he doesn't need anything. That's the original Avodah Zarah. But Chassidus says, Ed is Alts and Alts is Ed. He's everything, not nothing. So we have to take a look again at the Torah Shalom. The Rebbe Rashab says, in Atzmus, everything is Negeya. The exact opposite of what you think you're complimenting God by saying he's nothing. He's nothing you can think of. Then he's nothing. That's certainly not motivated. The Rebbe Rashab says it's a motivational thing. If you know who, but that's not motivating. He needs nothing, so I'm going to sleep. Yeah.
He needs it, but he doesn't need it. He can sort of toggle back and forth.
So this is saying that can't. He's real. Nimna hanimnois is a madrege. That's not him.
I was trying to explain that, but this is correct. Nimna hanimnois means he absolutely needs it, but not from a place of lacking. Like a human being, if you need something, you're lacking it. So therefore, you can't sort of go back and forth. You need it because you're lacking. Nimno means he's sort of on both sides of the fence because he absolutely needs it, but not because he's lacking. Now, human beings, you can't really understand what that means because every need you have is from a place of lacking. So he has no chesronos, but yet he absolutely infinitely needs it, like it's saying here, there in the Sikha.
Not infinitely.
Even more infinitely. Essentially.
So the word need is not saying what we want it to say. He doesn't need it. He is it. Therefore, it can't be any other way. So it's not like he needs something he doesn't have. Maybe that's the problem. You say you need something, obviously you don't have it. But that's not the case. A person needs to live. Not because he's dead, because he's alive.
The problem is, we just say that he is it, then what responsibility do I have? Like, I'm trying to say that this should be motivating to me.
If you want anything to do with him, this is him. This mitzvah, neglavasi. This is him. So if you do it even one time, you've made contact with him.
So is there another way of sort of getting this point across? Like this idea of like, I know like everyone could go through the whole Likutei Sichos, but this is like another Sikha, that they're going to learn along the way, and you sort of go through that ice, and yeah, he chose it, and then you sort of walk away with a wrong sort of understanding. Hey, he chose Sini, look, he didn't have to, it's not that important. Once he chose, now it's important. Which is the exact opposite of what it's trying to spell out. But are you necessarily going to dwell on this one ice and like, wait, what's a fatherly instinct? What's an instinct? What's a natural instinct? What's an essential instinct? Like, I can guarantee you, because just from the conversations, when I broach this conversation with anybody, it's like new talk that no one's ever like even thought of in terms, like it means they never even stopped. So before you try to finish the whole Likutei Sichos, if you really just take time to just break this down, it would be almost more beneficial. Because the danger of trying to go through the Likutei Sichos could just be very narcissistic. You did the whole Shas, and now you did the whole Likutei Sichos, but it has nothing to do with
the Eibishter.